Okay, Plexus Heart team, I've got the recording started. Our special guest speaker on here tonight is Jill Sinclair. She is a Ruby ambassador. Now we just became Facebook friends with her through Facebook and everything, or came friends with her through Facebook and started, kind of just watching her on Facebook and seeing her story. And so we just kind of reached out to her and we're like, hey girl, we'd love to have you, on our, Zoom call. So will you help us out and share your story? So she's got a really good story and everything. So we'll let her share that here in a little bit. But first of all, Jill, can you just share just a little bit about yourself, where you're from, about your family?
Yeah, sure. So I'm from Indiana. Let's see. I have two biological children, three adopted, and my husband has four kids. So we are a blended family of 9.
Wow.
I've been doing Plexus for about 3 years, and I love it. There's really nothing I haven't done in life. I've done just about everything. I have my cosmetology license. I have my CDO license. I've driven a school bus. I've worked at Channel 8 News. I have even delivered pizzas.
Wow.
My feeling was you don't know what you want to be until you've been it. And I've done about everything, and I absolutely love what I'm doing now.
Okay, so so how did you, when you first found out about Plexus, how did you find out about Plexus, and just kind of tell us how you found out?
Sure. I was at church, and a girl that I had been watching in the choir who I just thought was cute as a button, and I was like, oh, I want to be her friend. Her name is Chris Holtzclaw, and she had come up to me after church one day and said, you need to try Plexus. And I was like, okay. I just wanted to be her friend. So I really honestly joined because I thought she was so cool, and I just wanted to be her friend. She was telling me it does this and this, and it's going to make you healthy. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't care about being healthy. I just want to get skinny. And it just so turned out that it was much more than I ever dreamt possible. So that's how I found out about Plexus.
Okay, so now when you found out, now did you just join immediately, or did you just become a customer, or how did it work with you?
She came up to me, and I was going to be her first join. And so I remember her saying, I just signed up last week, so I need to get with my upline, Brittany Howard, and I need to get her to help me get you joined. And I was like, okay. So we just kind of started it together, just not knowing what we were doing. When she came to me and we decided to do this thing, I had done another home business in the past, and I had just swore I was never going to do that again. I had to wear pantyhose. I had to go to parties. I had to keep my own inventory. And so in my mind, I just thought, well, I don't want any part of that. So we got me signed up, and about a week into it, she was like, okay, now here's what you do next. And so she was walking me through it, and I thought, this sounds a lot like selling. Like, I'm going to have to talk to people about this. And so she said, just get the people to me. I'm going to go for Fast Start Gold. And I was like, okay. And she explained to me what that was, where it was 3 people, and then your level 1s, and then everybody else was under that, a total of 20 people. And so she hit Fast Start Gold, and then about a week after her, I hit Fast Start Gold.
Wow.
And so, and really all I did, and I'm not kidding you, I did not know anything about the product. I literally got the people to her, and she told them all about it. And she just told them what Brittany was telling her to say. So we were just like parrots. And so I was just repeating what she said. And then they joined. So we were able to hit Fast Start Gold together. It was really exciting.
Wow. Well, good. So basically is what you're saying is you had somebody that kind of, helped you out. They, cause that's one thing that Greg and we offer our team. We tell our team, like when new ambassadors start or whatever, if you're busy and you need help, let them know that we can help them out. We'll talk to them, because we both work from home. So it allows us to help our team out like you were helped out. So that's really cool. Now, when you got started on Plexus, can you tell us just a little bit about what Plexus has done for you and then your family?
Oh yeah, that's a long story. You want me to go into all of it?
Yes, ma'am. We want to hear the whole thing because we want to hear even the story. I know you've got a really good story about your son, so we definitely want to hear the whole.
Okay. Okay. So when I started on the products, like I said, I was driving a school bus and I was having a hard time. Like I had to use both feet to brake because my left knee was hurting really bad, and I had just prior to meeting Chris, I noticed that I was getting tennis elbow, and I just knew that it had to be tennis elbow because my elbow was hurting. I hadn't been diagnosed with it or anything. I just knew that because I couldn't even hold like a sack of bread on my arm without it hurting. So I got started on the products, and within the first week, I was probably about, I want to say 80% pain-free. Now he's now 20 years old, but at the time my son was, he has Becker's muscular dystrophy. It's a less aggressive form of muscular dystrophy, but when we found out he was diagnosed when he was 12, and then it was like probably the age 15, his health started just going downhill. But before I jump into that, I'll finish telling you about myself. I get really excited about Cody.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so I noticed that it was helping me with that, and I also noticed I have fibromyalgia. I have restless leg syndrome. I mean, I'm going to get personal. I had something on my bottom that women that have babies don't like to get. It has even helped with that. It's completely gone. At the time, I remember thinking, I know Plexus won't heal you, but maybe it can help Cody because, he has muscular dystrophy. I know there's no cure, but maybe it'll give him a better quality of life since I knew that I didn't want him on ibuprofen for the rest of his life.
Right.
I was standing at Riley Hospital with my ex-husband, his dad, and his stepmom, and we were in the room with the doctors, and they asked Cody to step out into the hallway, and the doctors told us that if we didn't find something for him, he was not going to have a long life. That was the way they worded it. And I remember feeling absolutely crushed.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't real for me. I went through a period of time when I found out, I was very bitter. I was very angry. I was not, if it got brought up, I didn't talk about it. I tucked it under the rug. He also is on the spectrum, so we deal with anxiety, and I call it a pinch of autism because it's not full-blown autism. He's very high functioning, but he had severe anxiety. So while he was gaining weight because he wasn't mobile really because of the pain, he's gaining weight at this time. His blood pressure's through the roof, his triglycerides, his cholesterol, heart attack range. I'm literally having to take him to all these appointments, and at Riley Hospital, you have to pull up. I had to drop him off. Then I had to pull into the parking garage, park the van, get the wheelchair, come back, take him to wherever he needed to go. And this went on for a couple of years. And so I had a van at the time, and I carried my wheelchair in the van everywhere we went. I know everybody pretty much knows what Kohl's parking lot looks like. We couldn't get from the Kohl's parking lot to the door without him needing me to find a wheelchair pretty much right away. So he was still somewhat mobile, but he just couldn't do long distances at all. Right. So after that, I started him on the Plexus, and it was probably about a month into it. I had asked him if he was, if he was taking it, and he was kind of wishy-washy at first taking the products. And so then I kind of just really made sure that he was taking them consistently. So about a month and a half into the products, I come home from work one day, and I asked the boys where Cody was because I didn't see him anywhere. And they said he went on a walk. And I said, he went on a what? And he had walked the block, and he had done it 2 laps. And so this went on for a few months. I wish I would have kept track. But see, I didn't know when I started this, I didn't know what I had. I didn't know what I had discovered. And so it was his stepmom had made a comment on Facebook because she had signed up under me and we were doing this gig together. And she had made a post that said something about Cody lost 40 pounds. And I was like, he does look thinner, but here I am with him. And at the time he was like very overweight.
Right.
And so I didn't really notice it. Well, then we get him to the doctor, and so then I was like looking forward to the appointments. So we go to the appointments and we're doing this thing. And at this time he had lost 40 pounds and then he just kind of kept losing weight and getting better. And just, I just was in shock. I couldn't get over how well he was doing. So also, to just give you an idea, it wasn't just with his health, but he would lock me out of the car when I go to the gas station in fear that someone was going to get him. He would lock himself in his bedroom and he wouldn't come out. He would lock me out of the house when I would check the mail, thinking that someone would take him. He was very terrified, and he lived that way for a long time. He now has his driver's license.
Wow.
And he no longer uses a wheelchair. We were at a sip and see that we had gone to. It was a little tea shop. And I went to pull up, and I was going to pull into the handicap spot. And I said, we don't need the handicap spot. And so we parked at the end of the building, and he came in, and he shared his story, and he broke down. He broke down because he said that God used plexus to save his life. Wow. And so I'm sure I'm leaving things out. He would take 3 and 4 hot showers a day for pain, just anything to help make him feel better. So, I mean, we deal with anxiety. It's still an issue, but it's nothing like it was. He never complains about being in pain. Honestly, we went to Kings Island 2 years ago. I took him and several of the kids. We went to Kings Island, and he went and rode a roller coaster. And when he got off of it, he couldn't walk. And he said, Mom, I told everybody I was out of the wheelchair, and he was so upset that he had to ride in the wheelchair that day because in his mind he had lied to everyone because he was basically healed,
right.
Right. And so I said, but this is just temporary. You're going to be fine. And he hasn't been in a wheelchair since. So I think what happened was his muscles tensed all up on the ride. And when you have muscular dystrophy, he just was spent. His body was spent. But he never uses a wheelchair. I have a post. I'll have to share it with you sometime. But He went to the hospital and he went 5 or 7 flights up the stairs, and I was having a hard time keeping up with him.
Wow.
So he's now lost 90 pounds.
Wow.
Yep.
Awesome.
He's lost 90 pounds. He does everything, everybody else does.
So now what products, do you mind me asking, what products did you start him on and stuff?
No, not at all. So I started the first month when I started on the triplex, I went ahead and started him on the triplex, and then the second month I added the Mega X and X Factor for both of us. And then when I noticed he was losing weight, when he was at the 40-pound mark, I went ahead and added block. And so I did that for like a month, and then I would kind of ease him off of it and then do it again. And I did that for a little bit. He has kept the weight off for 2 years now. Right now he is on the Fab 5, which is the triplex, plus the Mega X and X Factor, and I just added the MetaBurn for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. Yeah, that is awesome. Awesome.
And he has been on ease now and then, just depending on how he's feeling. But overall, he hasn't needed that because I believe that the Slim has helped so much with the inflammation. He hasn't had to have it.
Yeah. Well, good for him. That's awesome. And I mean, it's things like this too, stories like this that, when we hear stories like this, I mean, because not only the stories that we have for ourselves, but the stories that we hear from other people, that's what keeps us going. Because, these products, we all know that these products are amazing. We all know that they all work. And so anyway, but so now can you tell us, why did you want to start working the business?
Well, when I hit Fast Start Gold, honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. It took my upline poured into me, and her upline poured into me, and I had my mindset, and this is something else. I had no idea how immature, closed-minded, selfish, and just I'm embarrassed of how my mindset used to be.
Right.
One of our diamond upline is Fallon Black, and I remember them talking about how Fallon used to be so negative, and they used her as an example. She used herself as an example.
Right.
And I remember thinking, well, gosh, I'm glad I'm not like that. I was every bit, if not worse than that. And so I went to an event in Tennessee, and it was Sonia Dudley had it, and I remember her sharing a story about her no good, very bad day. And it was like one thing after another happened to her. And finally the guy said to her, thank you for being so nice to me. And she said, what good would it do for me to be mean to you? It's not going to change the fact that my car's broke down. It's not going to change the fact that I'm stranded, in another state away from home. It's not going to change anything.
Right.
So I think just them seeing the good in me when I couldn't, and just believing in me, Plexus has changed my life, and I've been able to take the things that I've learned and apply it to my marriage, to my children, to my walk with the Lord. Like everything in me is because of Jesus Christ. So, I don't, this is not my business, it's his, and I don't get joins, he does, and I just want right now to praise his name. I know this isn't church, but might as well be.
You go right ahead, because we believe in the power of prayer. We pray over our team. We
do too.
Yeah.
And so the way God has used this in my life, I obviously feel so undeserving. And I just want to continue to share and build my business and build new relationships and friendships and do what I can to help anybody I can.
Yep, exactly.
If you're blessed, be a blessing.
Exactly. I agree. And, and that's one thing that, I tell everybody too, God put these products in my hand because at the time I was overweight. I had no energy. I just was lazy. I didn't want to do anything. And now I've got more energy. I'm more outgoing. I'm more, confident in myself. Before Plexus, I would have never been able to get on here and do a Zoom and interview people, stuff like that,
Same here.
Yeah. And I remember, I'll have to share my very first video. I did my very first video out on the patio talking about the triplex, and it's actually on YouTube. So I'll have to send you that link and let you watch it. It was, I did pretty good because when I first started doing videos, I used to have this really bad problem about, and I'd have to go out there and record it because I had a problem about saying "anda." And Greg would point it out to me. He goes, "Oh my God, did you see you said "anda" 50 million times?" I'm like,
I know. It's so funny that you say that because I was just talking to Christy before we got on here, and I said, I was like primping a little bit, and I said, I hope I'm not one of those girls that just plays with her hair the whole time she talks. Because I'm like, but I have been a little bit. But yeah, it's that's just the thing is that when you're, am I completely comfortable right now? No, but I'm growing. I'm stretching. Anywhere I'm at, I'm growing. And I'm going to get off this call, and I'm getting ready to help lead a book study, and I'm going to be stronger for it.
Yeah. Yep. Totally agree with you. Okay. So now, I know you told us that you went, what was it? Super Gold or?
I went Fast Start.
Fast Start Gold.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long did it take you to go silver after you signed up? I mean, and then gold, ruby.
Well, I signed my mama up, my daddy up. I signed everybody up, and I'll tell you, I really don't remember. I just went ruby this year, but I don't really remember. I've been on the products for 3 years. I've done the business for 3 years, but I've stopped a few times. My dad got really sick, and he passed away, and my world got upside down, and I just, I went through that where nothing mattered. It was devastating to me. I'd never had a parent pass away. So, there's been times where I've thought, gosh, if I would have stuck with this and done this, I'd already be an emerald or I'd already be a diamond. And then I think, but that's not my journey,
Wow. Yep.
So I have grown so much, even in this year, especially with my leadership. And, even when we were in the hospital with my dad, when he was, I would run in there and say, Dad, if I get 5 more people, they said I'm getting $1,000 bonus. And he'd be like, thumbs up, and so I was messaging people in the waiting room, and I knew that my dad was proud of me and that he believed in me and he believed in this business.
Yeah.
And so that was exciting. And I actually did hit that goal. And, that was a blessing for my children because I couldn't work while my dad was in the hospital. And I got that $1,000 bonus and it actually paid for my kids' Christmas.
Oh, well, good for you.
So,
Yeah. So that's awesome. Yeah. Okay. So now, are you going to convention?
I am. And I think we're trying to go to the Grand Canyon. Hopefully we're trying to plan that. So,
Okay. So now because we have some new team members that are actually going to convention for the first time. So can you just, tell them about what you remember from the first time you went to convention? Because when I talk to them, I let them know that, leaders are born there. It's amazing. You're going to just,
they are, you get
so well.
to see, I'll tell you, it's like when I first started, they would say, go to every event, and I was like, okay, you don't really, if you haven't done it, I'm very skeptical, believe it or not. And so I was like, yeah, okay. And I really went because the friendship that I have with my team. And so I wanted to be there with them. And so just going and, you get to stay in a hotel and you get to eat with them and you get to meet up and you get to go and you get to watch these people pour into you. The singing and the testimonies and everything. You really do catch the vision there. I remember the first convention I went to, when I walked up, there were strollers that were so lined up so far from here to there, I could not fit it in a photo. Like I had to do panoramic.
Right.
And that to me was so eye-opening because I thought, these are moms that are able to find freedom and do something for themselves. And it's not just about your kids. It doesn't have to be just about one thing. You can be great in all areas.
Right.
And that's exciting. I say a lot apparently.
Yeah. Hey, like I say, and I'm going to be looking for you. I'm going to send you a message and say, hey, maybe we can meet up somewhere because I'd love to, just meet you real quick, get some selfies and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Because that's one thing that I love about going to these events too, is you get to meet so many people. There's so many people that you follow on Facebook and you never get to meet them. And then you see them at these events. And then when you walk up to them and, introduce yourself, they're just like,
they're so kind. They're so nice. I
Yeah.
really expected when I first started, and I started kind of figuring out, diamonds and ranking and all that, and how, I would watch people and I'd be like, oh, they're so amazing. They're so wise. And when I would go to run up and meet them and get a selfie, they were so nice. And here I was like fumbling all over myself trying to take a selfie and just get out of their way. And they wanted to talk to me, and I wasn't, they didn't know me from Adam, but they were just so kind, so nice. Lori, she took a picture with me at convention, and it was amazing. And I'll tell you something else. At convention, they play this Christian music after, during when everybody's kind of letting out. And I'm not kidding you. It's like church. And we saw a girl, one of my team members saw a lady crying. And we all stopped and started praying for her. And it was just like, I don't know. I can't explain it. You really need to be there. If you can get there, room up with somebody. I don't care. Sleep on the floor. Do what you got to do. Get there, because if you don't go, you're gonna regret it.
Yeah.
Your team. I'm gonna tell you right now. If you have one person on your team, you are a leader, and you owe it to them to be there. They need to see you, because they're not going to do something that you're not going to do.
Right.
So
Yep.
do
So that, yeah, so true. And just like, we're in this group with this real good friend of ours. She's a Emerald, Cody Helmer and stuff. And
Oh, I know Cody.
yeah, isn't she awesome? Oh,
Well, and you know what? Her husband is very good friends with Cody, my Cody.
oh, really? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool. Yeah. Well, anyway, I was
Chris.
watching a video that she did the other day, and she said was telling people on her team. She said, if you make it to convention and you don't have money for food, you come to my room. I'll feed you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or
That's
I'll do
right.
whatever. Let's just get there.
Same here.
So I mean, we're the same way. Yeah.
That's really neat. But she asked, she got to do the Super Saturday last year, and she invited Cody and I to share our story, and that was really cool.
Oh,
So
cool.
we
Yeah.
got to do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was neat.
Yeah, and like I say, the everybody's just so nice, at all these events, and it really does open your eyes up to the big picture, because I remember, just my first one was here in Dallas, Texas, and I remember Greg and I walking in there, and I was just like, oh my God, when they opened it up, because now this one when they opened up, they had all these people playing violins, and they were they're coming out from behind the curtain. Oh my God, it was amazing. And then it was funny too, because we had just signed up. And so Greg, he has his printer supply business, so he'd have to come home and work.
Yeah.
And I'd stay there for all the events and stuff. Well, he would message me and he'd say, oh, so-and-so wants to sign up. So I'd be in the middle of the convention and I'd say, hold on. So I'd walk out and I'd call him up and I'd get him signed up real quick, so that's one thing that you can't ignore while you're there. If you've got somebody wanting to sign up, you've got to,
Step outside and you take care of business.
That's right.
That's right. I call it. I got one. I go fishing. I got one.
Yep. So anyway, okay. So now, what are your goals to get to Senior Ruby and Emerald? What kind of goals do you have set to get there?
Crazy, massive IPA. And also the book studies, all the team calls. You have to show up. That is something that I have learned, and that has really made all the difference in my business. Because like I said earlier, your team is not going to do, they're only going to do about half of what you're doing. So it is critical that you show up to all the things. I mean, if you don't feel like it or you don't think you can, just think again and then do it. Just suck it up and do it, because that's what matters. And you don't realize, like, the personal growth it's critical. That's what's going to get you to the next level. So it's not just massive IPA, but it's IPA, personal growth, showing up to the book studies, getting on the team calls, helping other people. When you're asked, like, something like this tonight, like, I have been blessed by sharing with you, so just doing all the things. So that's my goal.
Okay, good. Okay, so now, do you have your own team page? And if you do, what kind of events do you do on your team page? What kind of things do you do, to?
I do not have my team page. I am on Brittany Howard's team page.
Okay.
So it's Brittany Howard and then Chris and then myself. And we have we have a wonderful page full of love, full of positivity. I would say just getting rid of any negativity is key. We do a lot of launch parties. Those seem to be a really big hit. We love launch parties. And then we're real big on just sharing. When you have something that is working for you, we're all about either hopping in there and putting video out real quick, or a tip, or just sharing from something else that we found. So probably that's what we do. A lot of launch parties, making sure everybody has all the information that they need, for convention. A lot of support, a lot of cheering on. We have an IPA chat that we do, accountability chat. That's been really great. That's helped me personally, because if I see somebody go in there and say, done, 5 new, 10 follow-up, shared this video, read this chapter or something, then I'm like, ooh, I better hurry up and get that done today, So it kind of keeps you on your toes a little bit, and you're not just kind of, this is your own business, but you're not by yourself.
Exactly. Because like we have our own team page, and like now we're still on Lori's,
Sure.
it's called Lori's Butterfly. So we're in that, but we have our own team page. And then we encourage our ambassadors when they start building a strong team to start their own team page. And that way, but continue adding them to our page, continue adding them to Lori's page, because that way, there may be something that they don't put on their page that they may see on Lori's page, or they may see something that they want to share on their page. You know what I mean? From Lori's.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and we also have like now in our team page too, we do different events like, different contests. We have contests, like IPA challenge contests.
Okay.
We give away prizes.
We do that once in a while.
Yeah, whoever signs up the most ambassadors, we give them $50, and then the highest PV and different things like that. So we have different contests that we do. Now we also have a customer page. Do you guys have a customer page where like potentials, that you add?
We do. It's called Gut Health and Happiness.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's fabulous. And that's what we put everybody in there that is interested in, we tag them in different testimonies that apply to them. That might be, no, that's not how you found out about Cody. I think I posted that on my regular page, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't remember. I met Cody 2 or 3 years ago at convention, and we'd become Facebook friends with her. And then I saw him at convention and ran up to him and met him and everything. But anyway, because in our customer page, we have different events inside the customer page where like we're getting ready to have one in next week, and it's called this one's called Plexus Products Party, and it's going to be strictly about the Plexus products, because with all the new ambassadors and then them adding new potentials and stuff like that, we want to be able to put in information about the product. So we're going to do that, and then we also do events where we have people do live videos, share their testimony and stuff like that too. And we give away prizes inside that group as well for people that participate. You know what I mean?
I love that. That makes it fun. That makes it fun.
Yeah, it does. And people love to win things. So
yes, I do.
Okay.
I'm after that iPad right now, y'all.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're working on getting that too. And this is the first time I've been doing Plexus for 6 years, and this is the first time in 6 years that I've ever seen Plexus do something this huge. So, it's actually, our team's growing. Our team is growing their team. So, it's amazing what's going on, right now in the team. But anyway, so lastly, do you have any advice that you would like to share with our team before we head out of here?
Probably my advice is be grateful. Get up every day, be grateful, drink a glass of water first thing, praise Jesus, ask him to bring everybody into your path that you need to do whatever for. You put God first, others second, and yourself last, and you won't go wrong.
Well, good. Okay, I'm sitting here reading a couple of the things. Oh, Christy is so sweet. She said, you are amazing, Dawn. Oh, thank you, Christy. I love you too, girl. You're amazing. Our whole team's amazing. Seriously, you guys, we've been an amazing team. But anyway, she also said right here, I love the Heart team. Y'all won me over,
Aww.
Yeah. So, and I remember, like, just for instance, I'm going to share a little bit about Christy. When she started out as a customer, and it was really funny because she was giving people to her sister-in-law and stuff, saying, here, and then we're sitting there going, we're seeing all this, and we're even reaching out to her, Christy, come on, girl, you need to sign up. So when you see stuff like that too, it's important to reach out to your people and go, come on, let's,
Yep.
So.
Celeste did that. She was wasn't she Celeste?
Gwen?
Yes, she was a room monitor at school.
Yes. She was giving everybody. Yeah.
She was giving them all away, and she's a double diamond now.
Yeah. Celeste Gwen, I went to one of her events in McKinney, and that was where it all began with me about being more confident about myself, because when we went to her event, there was over 300 people there. She had it at a church, and it was an opportunity meeting. So I went, Greg went, and then one of our ambassadors went. There was 3 of us, And so we're sitting there, and I'd already had a testimony at the time. I'd already lost over 30 pounds, so we're sitting there, and she asked for volunteers to come up and tell their testimony. And she goes, I need 10 people. So Greg and my friend are sitting there, and they're going, go, go, go. And I'm like, oh, no, people here, there ain't no way. And they're like, we're not going to talk to you if you don't go. So I'm like, so I thought, okay. So I get up there, and I was the 10th person. I'm standing there, and I tell this story because it's kind of really kind of cool, but I'm standing there, and I'm just shaking. I'm like about ready to, collapse and everything. And then finally I get up on the stage, and I look out there, and I swear to you, Jill, I saw nobody. I couldn't, and I just started talking, but telling my story.
That's a Jesus thing right there.
Yeah, and then whenever I got through, I got a standing ovation, and I was like,
oh.
Wow. Then I saw everybody. I was like,
isn't that amazing? And you're like, okay, I'm done. Can I just, my legs won't turn to jelly before I get off the stage.
Exactly. So then when the first time I saw her at convention, I ran up to her, and I was like, oh my God. So I talked to her about it and everything, and she remembered me. And so we did a selfie, and it was funny. Whenever Greg saw me post it on Facebook, he goes, oh my God, you ran up to Celeste Gwynn. I'm like, yeah, I've got all this confidence now. I'm ready to go. I'm ready.
What do I do with it?
Yeah. So anyway, Jill, hey, we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be on here with us.
Absolutely.
And everything. So, like I say, if you need anything, let us know, and can't wait to meet you at convention.
Same.
And
yes, I hope anybody that's on here, if you see me at convention, run up and squeeze me around the neck, and I'll squeeze you back till your head pops off.
There you go. There you go. But anyway, does anybody have any questions real quick you want to say or you want to ask? I can read in the chat thingy real quick.
Well, hey, Lola just jumped in. I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing. You're gorgeous. Your hair is just flawless.
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. And
I have seen you before. I've watched her videos. I've seen your videos.
Okay, now I'm getting all fangirl.
You were outside on a picnic table. I have seen your videos. Very, very moving. You're a very kind-hearted person. I see
you. Make me cry. Thank you very much. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. And Dawn, don't forget to take a picture.
Oh, yes, right. Yeah. Okay, I do have one question real quick. I see Christy's asking a question. What was your biggest hurdle?
Getting out of my own way. I was not coachable in the beginning. I remember butting heads with Chris time and time again, and I remember thinking I was right and she was wrong. I mean, that was my main thing, was who was right and who was wrong. And when I learned to start showing and giving grace, that really changed a lot for me. So it was probably pride. I would have to say pride was my biggest hurdle. I really struggled with that. And God's done a lot of healing. I have a big testimony, but God's done a lot of healing in my life. And I would say probably pride and just getting out of my own way and just accepting that I needed to learn and I needed to let God fill me up so that I could then give back. That was for me.
Wow, that's very good. I love that. That was very good.
I have one more question, if that's okay.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so Minnie's story is I have some team members that I just adore. They believe in the products. It's changed their lives, and they're adamant about sharing. They want to help other people. What is your advice? For example, 2 girls on my team got together not long ago. They made investments to do a sip and share.
Uh-huh.
That's how they did. It's like a sip and see, but then they also brought products and had a big setup and really invested time and effort into it. And none of the people that committed to come in came, and there was discouragement on that end, where it's like, the only advice I ever have is just keep persevering and never give up, because we're planting seeds. Dawn made that joke about me passing them on to my sister. I would not sign up. I never believed in the products. And I thought if someone came to me, I was like, y'all trying to trap me. I'm not going to be no ambassador. I'll pay the extra price.
Right.
So I know these girls aren't like me. Like, they believe hard and have huge faith, and what would be your advice on those who truly are struggling to get sign-ups, but they're doing everything? They're teachable, they're praisable, they're everything.
So I would say it starts with belief. They might not even realize that they have the belief problem, because it's definitely something, it's usually something that they're doing, whether it, are you watching their feet or their mouth?
Uh-oh. You cut out.
I said, are you watching their feet or their mouth?
As in watching their actions?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not in the same state anymore, but I mean, they post their actions as far as what I see over the internet.
So what I would say
is,
if they're not able to get people to the events, and this is something that they might not even realize they're doing, but sometimes it's really go back to the relationship. It's about creating those relationships to get people to the events. You know what I mean? So they might just feel maybe sold to. They might feel, that to me, that might be what maybe they're just feeling like they're sold to. That's kind of what comes to mind when you describe that. But, if you want to message me privately too, we can brainstorm and come up with some more ideas on that. I think having them watch some diamond documentaries, some more things on belief, that's going to probably, it's probably something going on in there. There's got to be a reason. There's definitely a reason. We just got to get to the root of it.
Yeah, and one thing, Christy, too, when you was talking about the sip and see thing, there's, we've had events like that where, we didn't have many people show up, but the thing that we talk about that is, hey, you gave the effort, you tried.
Oh, sure.
So you can't let little things like that discourage you. You've got to keep pushing away. You got to keep going. Like, for instance, we have our periods to where, they're slow periods, but you know what? We're firm believers in the products. We're going to continue sharing every single day. Sometimes we may overdo it, but you know what? We're always getting new customers. Like today, out of the blue, I got on my website and I had a Joyum customer.
And that's fun.
I was like, oh my God.
Where's that come from?
It was a lady from my hometown, and I've never talked to her about plexus. So the people are watching you. You know what I mean? So I reached out to her and we talked, and I
will tell you that
discourage you.
I had we had a event last summer. I had an event with someone else, and it was her idea to have it. I'm going to say right now, I think sip and sees are great. I think they're wonderful. I think they're really good to have them in, maybe if you have a family and you want to kind of get that kind of started there and plant that seed, or if you go to actual vendor events and have a sip and see, that type of thing. I love that. But we had this at where I live, and only ambassadors showed up. And I was like, okay. And here we got dolled up. We got veggie trays, and we got all this, and we were all excited. And then it was like, And so what I did was I said, we're going to do this like it's happening, And so then it turned into this awesome coaching session with 4 or 5 ambassadors sitting there. So, and they were new. So we were able to put on the sip and see like it would have been. And then we were able to answer questions. And so it turned into something really cool. Yeah. So I don't know what happened with them exactly, but yeah, I agree with Dawn. Just assure them that's let it go and just try again, and maybe just tweak things and do things a little bit differently. But I wouldn't get hung up on that. You don't want to stay there. You can rub that little mad spot out and then just move on.
There you go. Yep. Just let it
would you say the best place? Because one of the in my theory, because I've done one at the church, at my church.
Sure.
Then I did one at my mama's house, and I was starting to think, because I worry about the money that the girls are investing in locations and the time. I thought, wouldn't it be great? Isn't it better to do it at a home and have other people invite people, and it's more personable and like 6 to 7
That's what
people?
I would do. I think for me personally and my team, I encourage sip and sees for your family, because that's kind of fun. I mean, not only are you getting together with your family, but you're sharing with them this is very important to you, and this is an adventure. And unfortunately, a lot of times your family are the last ones to join you, depending on, your family. But I mean, I had my nephew's wife did not join me till this year, and she's a rock star. I mean, like, it's amazing. Like, she watched me all this time and then finally joined, and they will join you. But yeah, I think sip and seas are great to have at home. I really do.
Yeah, and then let me one more pointer real quick. Like, for instance, like you were saying, when y'all did the one and you had just ambassadors, we've had them like that too, where it was just ambassadors, but we sat around and we strategized.
Yes.
With new
turn that into a coaching session.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, turn it into a coaching session. So anyway, but okay, well, we're gonna have to let her go because she's got a what is it? A book? What do you call it?
I'm leading a book study.
A book study, yeah. So she's getting ready to do that here shortly. So we got to let her go. But anyway, everybody, turn your camera on real quick so I can do like a screenshot of everybody. I always like to do this.
That's fun.
Okay, Becky, you gonna turn yours on? There you are. Okay, everybody smile. There, I think I got it. Let me see. Yeah, there it goes. Let me make sure it took. Where'd it go? Come on. There it is. Okay, we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and stop.
Send it to me.
Okay, I will. Yep.